Welcome to everyone. So again I am discussing the numerical problems on friction. So let's start. So see, here the problem is given that two blocks are given. This is the first block and this is the second block, and second block is attached with a fixed rope AB, right? And one thing is given that this is the value, this perpendicular is given here 3, this is 4. So this angle is what? Theta. Okay, it is given, and weight of the second block is W2 is equal to 570 Newton and W1 is equal to 1290 Newton. A P force is acting this direction. So question is that find the force applied to the lower block that will necessary to cause the slipping to impede. Okay, so given the coefficient of friction is given here, that is, this is the coefficient of friction, that is mu1, and mu1 is equal to what? 0.40. so that is between the block, first block, and the horizontal surface, and same way between the second block and the first block, this is the mu2 is 0.25. okay, it is given. Okay, so you have to find out the value of P. So how you can find out? So see here, so if I consider the second block, so see, second block is this one. So if I consider the second block, so in case of second block, this is the second block, so W2 is 570 Newton, so W2 is acting vertically downward, right? T, the tension is acting this direction, it is the tension, so yes, this is the tension T. Okay, so if this is theta, so same way I can write this is your theta. Okay, so then if this is theta, so this angle is your T cos theta. Okay, and this angle is T sin theta. Okay, and same way what I can write, what is the another forces? See, P force, now come to the friction. If P force is acting on the first block is this direction, right? So a pseudo force is acting which direction? A pseudo force is acting on the second block this direction. So frictional force on the second block is acting this direction. So this is the mu R2, and R2 means what? Normal reaction by the first block. Okay, so this is mu R2. Here I can write here mu2 because mu2 R2. So this way. So same way now if I write here net forces, net horizontal forces, how many net horizontal forces is acting? So that is equal to, one is T cos theta, another one is mu2 R2. So I can write here summation of Fx is equal to 0. So T cos theta is acting negative x-axis and mu2 R2 is acting positive. So mu2 R2 minus T cos theta is equal to 0. So that is equal to, I can write here, what I can write, that is equal to mu2 value is given 0.25, okay, into R2 minus T cos theta. Okay, see here how you can find out this value theta, because theta is given here. So tan theta is equal to 3/4, perpendicular by base. So theta is equal to tan inverse 3/4, and this tan inverse 3/4 means 36.87 degree. Okay, so you can get the value of mu2 R2 minus T cos 36.87 degree is equal to 0. So that is equal to, you can get 0.25 into R2 is equal to T cos 36.87 degree. So R2 is equal to T into cos 36.87 degree divided by 0.25. So if you calculate this one, so you are getting the value of R2 is nearly 3.2 into capital T. Okay, so you are getting the value of, that is nearly capital T, right? So that is equal to, this way you can find out, this way. and see here, if you can find out this way, so R2 is equal to 3.2 into capital T. So now next one is what? Next one is equal to, next I can find out that is summation of Fy, summation of Fy. So summation of Fy is equal to 0. So total forces along y direction is equal to what? T sine theta R2, this is positive y direction, so I can write T sine theta plus R2 minus W2, right, is equal to 0. So then, so if I substitute the value, so that is equal to T sine theta plus R2 is equal to 3.2 Newton, sorry, 3.2 into capital T. So I am substituting here 3.2 into capital T minus W2 is equal to 0, right. So if you can find out the value of this one, so see, T is T and sine 36.87 degree. If you find out this one, okay, 36.87 degree plus 3.2 into capital T is equal to your W2, right. So if you calculate this one, okay, so suppose if you calculate this one, say that is equal to then you are getting that what is the value of T you are getting. So T you can get, because W2 is easily you can get, because W2 is given, W2 is equal to your 570 Newton. So if you substitute the value of here 570 and see T means what? 3.2 plus sine 36.87 is equal to 570. So T is equal to, you are getting 570 by this one. So almost you are getting the value of T is 150 Newton. And if you get the value of T, then R2 is equal to what? It is very simple. R2 value is equal to 3.2 into T. So 3.2 into 150. So that means is equal to your what? 332 by 10 into 150. So this will be your 480 Newton. Okay, so the value of R2 you are getting 480 Newton, capital T is equal to 150 Newton. Now the question is that what is the value of P? So next, for this reason we have to find out this P. To find out the value of P, so we have to consider the first block. So let us consider the first block. This is the first block, right. And see here, if you see this first block, this is the P, right. So due to the second block, in which direction the frictional force is acting on the first block? This is the P, and see, due to the second block, so on the upper surface of the first block, so the frictional force is acting, that is mu2 into R2, right. So the second block exerts the frictional force on the first block this direction. Due to the first block mu2 R2, so this direction the frictional force is acting on second block by first block, but here it is the opposite case. Second block will exert how much frictional force on the first block? This opposite direction, right. So if this is the direction, this is the opposite. Okay, so see now if you can understood, so as this is the, so this one is your mu1 R1, because horizontal surface is giving a normal reaction R1, so mu1 R1. And see if you can understood this one, so R2 means what? First block exerts a force on the second block is this direction, same way second block will exert a force on the first block, that is R2, normal reaction, that is R2, this direction, right. So see if you can understood this one, so in case of total force along x axis as well as total force along y axis is equal to 0, and one thing, that is the weight of the first block is equal to W1. So if you consider, that is equation Fy is equal to 0, so Fy means what? That is equal to R1 okay, R1 minus W1 minus R2 is equal to 0, right? So if you can consider this one, so R1 is equal to what? R1 is equal to your W1 plus R2. So W1 value is given and R2 value already you have find out, right? R2 value is equal to 480 Newton. So if you just substitute the value of 480 Newton and W1 value is given 1290 Newton, substitute. So if you add these two one, so how much value you are getting? That is equal to your 1770 Newton. So the value of R1 you are getting here. And in case of force along the x direction, so if you want to find out the force along the x direction, so that is equal to what? So see, in case of, if you want to find out the force along x direction is equal to 0. So P is acting this direction. So I am writing P is equal to, directly P is acting positive x direction, mu2 R2 and mu1 R1 is acting negative x direction. So I can directly writing positive direction force is equal to negative direction force. So P is equal to, directly here I am from this diagram I can write, that is equal to P is equal to mu2 R2, okay, mu2 R2 plus mu1 R1, okay. So these things I can write. So mu2 R2 value you can get, and R1 value also you have got. So see here, mu2 means what? What is the value of the mu2? Mu2 is given, that is, see, given in the question, that is 0.25. So I am substituting the value of this mu2, that is 0.25 into R2. R2 value is what? R2 value is equal to this one, 480 Newton, right? So R2 value is equal to 480 plus mu1. Mu1 is equal to what? Mu1 is given 0.4. So I am substituting here 0.40 into R1 value. Recently you have find out, that is this one, 1770. This is R1 value. Substitute 1770. So if you calculate the whole things, you are getting, this is 828 Newton, okay. So this is the value of P, okay, this is the value of P, okay.